Good morning and happy blessed Friday. I was thinking about growing up and how I learned that everybody who I was in relationship with, they were different. And that's a good thing that everyone is different. But particularly when we're talking about parenting and thinking about the ways in which um, maybe you have multiple kids and the first kid had a different temperament and the way in which you raise them may or may not have worked, but then you don't take what you've learned um, and apply it to the next child or the next person. And what that looks like is taking the stance of treating everyone the exact same way. And what we know to be true about when you're a parent raising kids or a child is that every child is different. What you might be able to tell one kid and they follow directions, another one might need a little bit more guidance, a little bit more instruction, a little bit more time. But how do you respond to that if you're in the place of treating everyone the same? Um, and it also reminds me of when I was growing up listening to the older people not give much information, typically saying, because I said so. Um, and that never really felt good because for a curious little person like I was, I wanted to know. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know what it meant, and not in a disrespectful way, but just wanting to have more information to try to make sense of it because then that's a seed being planted in me. And to be able to have more information and to understand, then you can give more moving forward. And so it begs the question for me, like, how do you show up in your relationships, not just with your children, but people who, other people in your life, when they bring something to you about you? Are you defensive? Um, are you open? Can you listen? Do you listen? Do you shut down? Do you run away? And do you have the ability to self reflect? Those things are so, so, so absolutely important. The self reflection piece, to be able to think about what's being said to you or given to you or offered to you um, from someone from the outs looking in. And that information is golden because we can't see our own selves. We can't hear our own selves. We can't experience our own selves because we are our own self. But someone from the out looking in, I wonder what they would say about you and how you are in your relationships. And if it's positive, most people are able to take it. But if it doesn't feel good, and it hits the nail on the head about certain things, about how you show up or how you don't show up, or how you're needed or wanted, or what's needed from you from another person, or just painting a clear, honest experience of you. How do you take that in? Can you take it in? Um, and do you apply it moving forward, or do you just continue to be driven by your ego and stand in your relationships and say, well, this is who I am, and this is always how I've been, and I'm not willing to change. I don't know many relationships that flourish in that way because I know that relationships are um, they're reciprocal. They're not a one-way street. They're a two-way street. And particularly again when you're raising kids, if you take the stance of because I said so, I don't know how much depth you'll be able to add. And when those kids get older, how they will respond when you try to engage them when they're influenced by so many things. So, how do you take in other people's experiences of you and apply it if it's applicable? And how do you then come back and implement those things into your current relationships. Thank you for listening. I love you. Happy Blessed Friday.